is right now we're hard at work preparing for Illinois. You know, from an offensive standpoint, Coach Cubitt's a nightmare to prepare for. We've known him for a long time as a head coach at Western Michigan, and you know, he's given us fits with all the things he does. He's got 2 weeks to prepare for us, and another quarterback. I've seen playing two quarterbacks, both completely different styles, and so defensively, it's a big challenge for us, and it's always hard as a defensive coordinator right now with all the different things that you see in college football. And then from an offensive standpoint, they're a football team that does a lot of blitzing, and you know, you got to spend a lot of time over the next few days picking up all the blitzes that you're going to see. So it's going to be a week that we got to have great preparation, and you know, and then we need to you know, to continue to improve on some fundamentals. Well, I think Mitch it's just like anything. You know, I said that early in the year that he would progress, and I think the biggest thing again is he's able to do that. He's been able to set his feet, and the protection's better. You know, we've protected him better, and when a quarterback gets protection, he feels more comfortable, and then he becomes more accurate. You know, there's not very many quarterbacks that are very you know, successful when they're on their back or they're scrambling around. You know, there's a few. Johnny Manziel, of course, when he was playing at A&M, he ran all over the place. But you know, for the most part, you got to get your feet set and have a chance to throw. And when he gets his feet set and doesn't have a lot of pressure, you know, he throws the ball, you know, pretty efficiently, and he can throw the ball downfield. But certainly things, probably the biggest plus, we threw it to several different receivers, and I think that's the most important thing.
How did the players react to being ranked in the coaches poll?
I hadn't talked about it. You know, when we met on Sunday, and that was Sunday afternoon, and we went to work, and you know, to me, the more you talk about more one thing one way or one way the other, you know, we talked about, you know, the game that we played on Saturday, and we talked about the positives in the football game, and then we spent a lot of time on the film room and what wasn't so good that we needed to improve. And because the only thing that matters is to a coach is we can get, you know, it's great to be excited, all those kind of things. Gaining confidence, that's good. Finding ways to win, you know, sometimes you just got to find a way to win, and we did that. But as coaches, the only thing that matters is at the end of the season where you're at, really. And so you got to keep your players, you're right, grounded. This is what you need to do, and you find out how mature a team you have is, you know, or we have, and we have to coach that up. And we can't worry about all the other stuff because they already know about it. Maybe in the old days you'd have to, but in the new days that they already know. And you say, hey, does that put a little bit more pressure on? Sure it does. I mean, they talk about it, but we talk about, you know, if you don't do what you're supposed to, that's called don't last very long. So you better take care of business in what you do from a day-to-day and a weekly basis, you know, playing the game.
When you go back and you look at the film from Saturday, what was your biggest takeaway and the difference between how you played in the first half and how you guys played in the second half?
You know, in the first half, you know, a lot of that was my fault. Just as far as some of the stuff they did out, some formations and that you know, we didn't get a chance to work on enough, and so whenever there's confusion, I mean, that's my responsibility, and so we got it worked out at halftime, and I thought the kids played awfully well in the second half, and so that's really the biggest thing, and it just wasn't as simple as correcting by one person, you know, and so I need to do a better job during the week, and we can prevent some of that.
So with Illinois, got a couple of weeks to prepare and going on the road, and obviously knowing what you have on the schedule in November, is this the kind of game that makes you nervous?
Is it? Well, here's the thing that bothers you. We don't, you know, they have two different quarterbacks. They're completely different. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. So Bill does a good job again with formations and motions, and so it'll be a challenge, especially coming out of the gate again. We need to handle it better than what we did last week, and hopefully I do a better job of getting practice organized to where we understand things a little better coming out of the gate. But there's no question with the 2 weeks, and and playing the two quarterbacks, we're really not for sure everything we're going to get, and so that's why you get good players, and hopefully they'll make some plays for us.
Hey Matt, have you got a true number 3 at quarterback, and can you talk a little bit about?
Well, I don't know. Do you know something I don't know that we need to be ready with the number 3? You know, I think Jock Para really has separated himself in that group. You know, he's an interesting case, a walk-on kid from here at Roseville, and he came over and spent a lot of time in the spring when he was still finishing up high school, came over to spring practice, really over the course of the summer, did a lot of work on his own, and that's really benefited him in a lot of ways from the standpoint of he isn't a fish out of water when he steps into that huddle and he's called upon to maybe jump in there during a drill or what have you. There's a real confidence about him, and he's a pretty darn good player too. So he's been able to separate himself as far as that number 3 goes.
What do you think a play like the one KJ May does for a young guy who really hasn't done a lot in games? You haven't seen those type of plays, but playing and diving and all that.
Well, you know, like I said, the thing about KJ is I said it last year, he's such an energy kid. He brings such a positive energy to the receiver group, to the offense, to the whole team. Last year he was banged up, and you could just tell he was trying, you know, but it just was weighing on him. Now he's healthy, he's feeling good. He gets it, he understands that, hey, my opportunities are going to be there, and I got to take advantage of them. And I think Saturday was a great example of that. You know, we had talked all week about he needed to run the route at a certain yardage. He needed to get where he needed to be with great tempo. And he did exactly those 2 things, and we were able to hit him. And then, you know, the joke was he wasn't going to be, you know, held out of the end zone because he knew he might not see the ball again. There were probably a couple people in line before him that would get that down at the 5-yard line. So he was going to find a way to get in the end zone. But it was great to see him get that, and then to kind of step back, you know, him, Donnell Kirkwood, those kind of guys contributing, Isaac Frichty making a big catch, Donovan breaking free. You know, those are things that kind of keep that positive momentum going and keep it building, which is where we need to be right now.
Or worry you when you see a guy kind of dive at that goal line, like you could see a turnover? Or
Oh, my heart stops. I just hope the defibrillator's working up in the press box, because you just don't know. There's a lot that's left up to chance when that happens. So, but you love his effort, and you love, you know, that's an enthusiasm that he brings, that he was going to find a way. So that part you really like. The other parts you just kind of hold your breath a little bit, and then when you see the official signal, you breathe out, and then you figure out if you're going for 1 or 2. So.